Guys, this is the start of my 6th year in Germany. So I've been in Germany for 5 years, since 2016. And so I wanted to make a video. I felt a little reflective kind of about my time here in Germany and how have I changed since being in Germany. And I actually thought about this pretty hard. I don't want it to be like really shallow things of living in Germany of like, well, I recycle better now and I can drive manual car and kind of just frivolous things like that. So I really thought about how I have changed, hopefully in a little bit more of a deeper way since living in Germany. So this video is about 5 ways that Germany has changed me in the last 5 years. I am now interested in, or at least tolerant of, watching movies and TV shows, foreign movies and TV shows in subtitles. Now, us Americans, we like to watch stuff in English. Before I came to Germany, I wouldn't be caught dead watching any sort of foreign language content in subtitles. What am I going to read a movie? I might as well read a book. But since living in Germany, I've broadened my horizons a little bit here. And I've become interested in some foreign language content. For example, I recently watched the TV series Dark, the German TV series Dark on Netflix, which, by the way, if you haven't watched that is perhaps one of the best series on Netflix. Not even on Netflix, perhaps one of the best series that I've ever seen in my life. One of the smartest pieces of content, 3 seasons of just genius level content creation. Dark on Netflix. Anyway, I watched it in German with English subtitles, of course. But before living in Germany, I would have no interest in watching something in subtitles. If it's not from America, I ain't watching it. Arrivederci.
Arrivederci.
I'm now not just interested in German language content, but also I've been sort of branching out in my film experiences. I've been watching some Danish movies, Norwegian movie. I watched a Danish movie. The English title is Another Round. It's from this director, Thomas Vinterberg. Winter Mountain, called Another Round, starring Mads Mikkelsen. It's a good movie. And he has another movie, also starring Mads Mikkelsen, called The Hunt. That's the English title, which is just a really interesting, captivating story that just happens to be in Danish. So I'm glad that I've sort of broadened my horizons a little bit and am now not scared off by content that is in subtitles or in a foreign language that I have to watch with subtitles. Because it's like, you start watching the movie or the TV show with subtitles and after 2 or 3 minutes, you don't even notice them. You get into the story and it's just an easy watch. So for all my American people out there who are afraid to watch any sort of foreign language content because it's in subtitles, I promise you're going to get over it in a couple minutes. And there's a lot of good storytelling coming from different countries that are not just being pumped out of the cliche, predictable Hollywood system. So you're seeing different types of stories and stuff that you have no idea where things are going to go. That Norwegian movie that I watched, Headhunter, starring Nikolai, the guy from Game of Thrones that you all know, it was just a wild movie that was completely unpredictable, and unlike anything that you see in Hollywood, because most Hollywood movies are very predictable at this point. They're all just cookie cutter, formulaic stories. So watching foreign language movies and TV shows with subtitles, incredible. I've become something that I always hated. I would see these people and I would just say, who are you? Why are you like that? And that is a beer snob. I am disgustingly pretentious about drinking beer now. After being exposed to the gloriously beautiful German beer selection, specifically Southern German Hefeweizens, I am unable to drink an American beer. I don't remember where I was, but it was a couple years ago probably, and I was back home in the States, and I had I think either a Bud Light or Coors Light after having been in Germany for a few years and gotten accustomed to the German beers. Came back, thought I'd have a beer, and I am not exaggerating when I say I could only take one drink of it. I think it was a Bud Light. And I was like, I can't drink this. This is disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. And the people were almost like, you're such a douchey European German beer snob. I was like, you know what? I am that now. I have, since living in Germany, become wildly interested in and fascinated by World War II history, to a level that I think I never would have become interested in if I had never lived here in Germany. I think that living in a country that played such a significant part in the war, the bloodiest conflict in human history, definitely has made me more interested in studying about the history of all this stuff and being able to actually visit some of these significant places, whether it's the Eagle's Nest, the Kaufstein House, Obersalzberg, or to go to concentration camps like Dachau. Being able to see this kind of stuff and go to these kind of places has really sparked my interest and made me want to learn about these just colossally significant events in human history as much as possible. And so I started off reading from like the English perspective, like biographies of Winston Churchill and these kind of books. And now I'm on the German side. Like this winter I read The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich, which was by William Shirer. Just a huge mammoth of a book and kind of tough to get through, but I got through it. And right now I'm in the middle of the memoirs inside the Third Reich, the memoirs of Albert Speer, who is Hitler's architect and I think the Minister of Armaments for the Nazis, I think from like 1942 on. Although he has been sort of a little bit discredited in the later years with like the Speer myth. After being convicted at Nuremberg and having to spend 20 years in prison and writing these memoirs, and then he got out and sort of portrayed himself as the good Nazi and like did a bunch of TV interviews and stuff. But he's, I guess, has been sort of caught in some lies that portrayed him in a much better light than he was actually involved in. So I'm taking that book with a little bit of a grain of salt. But it is fascinating to read firsthand accounts from people who were involved in this kind of stuff. I feel like a lot of people my age or my generation are not so interested in World War II history, or it seems like such a distant event in the past, but I think it's like even more important now than ever to study. And one of the lessons so far that I guess I've been kind of learning is that sort of how normal people can be pushed and moved to do horrible, evil things just by being moved an inch at a time. It's impossible to see our present day lives in a historical context. But if you can read about history, then you can sort of kind of pull out from present day and be like, how is this going to be looked at 80 years from now? And try and get a little bit of a different perspective on present day situations in politics and culture and things like that. So that's why I also think it's important to learn about these important events in history. And I think that my interest in World War II would not be as big as it is if I had not moved to Germany and gotten to go to some of these historical places in person. I have become critical of both the USA and of Germany. And I like to notice the positives and negatives of both countries. So I like to be, when I'm in the USA, I'll be like, oh, well, you know, in Germany, they do this like this, and it's actually so much better. And then when I'm here in Germany, I'll say to people like, oh, well, in the States, we do it like this, and it's actually so much better. But I also like to criticize both countries. So, like, for example, I feel free to notice how just ridiculously, abysmally stupid it is for Germany to put their stoplights on the near side of their intersections. One, because I think it's really hard to see. It's just really hard to see. You have to crank your neck or look over to the right, whereas like in the States, we have it on the far side, which gives you a much easier viewing point of the stoplight. Plus, even more importantly, I think, is it forces you to kind of look out into the intersection and make sure that once your light turns green, there aren't any stragglers trying to get through on a yellow to red light, because you're not so focused on the immediate right here in front of you. You're looking out in front and you see in your peripheral, it's like, okay, it's now safe to go. I just think that it's horrendously stupid to have the stoplights on the near side of the intersection, and I don't think anything that anyone will say will ever change my mind. And I feel free to criticize, in the United States, the two-party political system, which I think is just absolutely driving polarization in a crazy way in the States and ripping apart the fabric of our democracy. Don't worry, USA, I'll be starting the Nowth Party soon. I will, of course, be the dictator of said party, and primary policy goals will be to bow down to the big candy lobbies of whatever the company is that creates knoppers. So I'll be bought and paid for by the candy companies. Absolutely corrupt politician I will be. So, free to criticize both countries. And finally, guys, I can say that I now, after living in Germany, firmly believe in rest. I guess I would describe myself as a little bit of a workaholic type, where if I'm not being really productive for most hours of the day or getting something done or achieving something, then I feel kind of worthless and full of anxiety, and that I need to constantly be working and working and working, whether it's like on video stuff or working out or other sort of work. And that sort of just runs you into the ground. And so I've been able to now, since living in Germany, and seeing how Germany has a great work-life balance. Now you can work really, really hard, but then relax also to recharge. And then you can go back and work again and continue to improve or continue to make progress on whatever you're doing. You don't have to just constantly work yourself into the ground. And that the results, you actually achieve better results if you give yourself proper and adequate rest. And I think this is more of a German mentality than an American mentality, and now I've been able to slowly apply it into my life. Now I know if I do that, and then I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna take a rest day right now to recharge all my batteries, and then I'll get back after it again tomorrow, and then I'll make good progress on the following day on whatever it is I'm working on. So Germany has now taught me to believe in and benefit from rest. All right, guys, so that is 5 ways that Germany has changed in the last 5 years. I like this list. I think it's a good list. These are ways that I think I've actually been changed by living in this country, not just by getting older over the last 5 years. All right, guys, that is all for today. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you want. See you next time.